Wow. All right, we're live.
We're live.
Week
I
5?
hope. Candace will tell us if we're not.
Okay.
Yeah, week 5, the last of 5 of the holiday meeting.
Wow.
They do
Time's
consider January a
Yeah.
new meet. So.
Right. Of course, a lot of these tracks with the old different meats, like
Right.
the tropical meat and whatnot. Cool. I'm excited.
Me
I'm
too.
ready.
Yeah, I have some money to win back from Parks.
All right. Fair enough. Yeah, the Parks carryover was today, but you didn't do as well as last time. You hit that thing for a nice sum. Huh?
Yeah, last time was good. So still playing with their money, I guess, but other tracks have gotten some of it back too.
That happens.
Yeah. Actually, December traditionally not too good for me, but this year maybe one of my best end of years ever. So
Yeah.
Still got a week to really send it off with a bang.
All right. Yeah, for sure. And some exciting news. Well, hopefully, but we talked with the winner of the scoop of the Pick 6 last week for 63,000. I think it was Saturday night or Friday night.
I don't think there's a carryover, so it must have been Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday night. Okay. And scooped it on a $108 ticket and wasn't able to make it on tonight, but perhaps maybe next week.
And the other scoop, which was a couple weeks before that, week and a half, was on a $50 ticket.
Wow.
At Finger Lakes. So good to see retail players. Not sure if either gets other spiffs, but non-CRW has taken down the pool on both occasions.
Right.
And with economical tickets, and I don't know about. I mean, that was his only ticket, right?
Yeah.
The 108, and same with the Finger Lakes. I know they may have had. I don't know about your guy, but the Finger Lakes guy, I think, hedged a little at the end. $50 ticket. Maybe not even a hedge, but horses he didn't use that he was concerned about, which I understand wanting to get yours. But yeah, I mean, big payouts, and I think the Pick 5 on Wednesdays has been $60,000 average.
Wow.
So
that's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool though for a 20-cent bet. That's when the jackpots work out, right? For a 20-cent bet, $108 ticket, you can cash for 60 grand. That's pretty cool. And you can't. I mean, I guess you could do it in sports if you parlay like 15 teams or whatever.
Yeah,
but that's
saw
something.
the one guy at the Anytime TD.
Yeah,
he went, but
that's one great thing about horse racing and Pick 5s and Pick 6s. You could really put some killer tickets together, especially when the pools are big or the jackpots are big or what have you.
It just seems like, I mean, Turfway. I think last year people would have said this too, but even more so this year. It's every night.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, there are some landmines, and it can be frustrating when, I think it was on Saturday, Scott Shapiro, who actually has a positive ROI in the meet with his top selections.
Wow.
But there was a $100 winner, and he made the comment that on paper, that was the toughest one to get to of all meet. So it does happen, but to me that's part of why we're coming back, and we already have some comments. Not to jump the gun, obviously we're going to get to race 1, but race 2 is one of those. Wesley Ward clearly going to be favored. I made the choice to exclude. I just feel like you either single a horse like that and look for prices elsewhere, or that's the spot you're willing to take a stand against the favorite. So, the first race is no gimme either, but right away, this early double has some real opportunity, I think.
Yeah, I thought the Ward horse was interesting from a peculiar, perplexing kind of thing. So maybe you have an answer to this, but it's a 5,000 maiden claimer. He owns the horse. Okay, that might have something to do with it. The purse is 13,000, so I guess the winner's share is what 7,800.
But you got to pay the jock.
You have to pay the jock. So if you get the horse claimed and win, you make 12,800. Not that certain trainers are at certain status, but it costs more than 12,000 to keep a horse for a year.
Yeah.
So why do you keep this horse around for a year? I mean, I guess that beats the alternative. I guess you keep him healthy on a farm when he's ready to run.
Yeah, and Wesley has his own farm, probably several. I guess one thing would be to maybe look into Ben's boots. If Wesley owns the dam, getting another win underneath,
There you go.
even at
Now
this
you're going,
level.
Going CSI on me. I like it.
But at this price, and looking at the Ragozin sheets, and the horse, has run well enough that would be no shock to run well here in another year of development, and maybe improves a little bit. But the 2 races we've seen so far are not even the fastest of this group. So, to take a favorite off that long of a layoff and need improvement, it's just a no for me.
So we're talking race 2. And so who is the fastest of the group?
I really couldn't split them between 3, 6, 7. The 3 is a late scratch for those who may not have seen that. Yeah. So I'm just using 6, 7, and I guess the old gun to my head thing, I would say I prefer the 7 only because it's a slightly longer price. So in terms of having to make a pick, but there will be no weighting either one in either direction. The opinion here is beating Ward, and I think you only need 2 to try to do it.
Okay. I like the 6 a little better. I see what you mean. The figure on the 7 is a little higher. I mean, really, they both make a lot of sense. So one thought I wanted to kind of throw out there tonight to you and to the group is it seemed like the track was very closing or more closing the first couple weeks. And now it seems that week 3 and 4 kind of flipped to more speed favoring. Yeah. So what I'm kind of looking at is horses coming out of races the first couple weeks that were up front, maybe bumping them up a few points, and maybe the ones that are closed the opening 2 weeks, maybe not knock them down, but definitely no extra credit. They kind of did what they should if they were closers and they got a pace. So the 6 I thought was really interesting for Steve Asmussen. He kind of tracked a pretty hot pace, 4th by 2, 4th by 1 1/4. So wasn't exactly on it, but right up there close, and just wasn't able to close that day. And so I was thinking, okay, is this a type of horse? He did get out closed. The winner came from 6th, and actually, a couple of the horses kind of came past him. So anyway, I think that's going to be something that I'm watching for, especially as we're in week 5 here, and we've got horses on the card tonight coming back. Some of them coming back in a week and a half from week 3, and some of the others coming from the first
Another
2
good
weeks.
thing with Turfway that I think fuels the field sizes is you do get the run backs on 2, 3, even less weeks rest. I wouldn't be surprised this week to maybe see horses making their 3rd start of the meet. I'm not sure if I saw any tonight.
I think there's one tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's certainly coming, if not here already. And the track profile has been super interesting to me. And we've even seen, which, logically, I don't have an explanation for it, but, the way the 1-turn races have played outside versus the 2-turn races has been fascinating. And the jockey colony, which, Juan Machado and Axel Concepcion, I would say definitely having the 2 best meets so far, raw numbers wise. Mm-hmm. Some other names like Burgo, German Terrazza, Orlando Mexica, and the Bug Girl Correa, very good on HRN impact and ROI. Yeah. So definitely giving long looks to the mounts they pick up. But Machado has no mounts tonight. And Axel's only riding in the back half of the card. So I do not have an explanation for that. I don't recall seeing Machado's name at Parks. They had a couple stakes today, but everyone deserves some time off. Yeah. And I saw Julien Leparoux in France for the holiday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So our video. I made a little handy spreadsheet with the Turfway jocks. Let's see if we can see it here. And I'll try to blow it up a little bit. How about that? And kind of color-coded some of it using the HRM impact like you talked about.
There we go.
And, I think what's interesting is, Turfway is so hard to figure out, right? It's so hard for us just sitting here as handicappers to figure it out. So it makes sense that the riders wouldn't have it completely figured out. Like, you can't crack open a form and say, like, oh, I need to come off the pace of this race, or I need to do this or that. And so, if you look at some of these riders like Machado doing well on both sprints and routes, and so is Concepcion, and but getting around like Fernando de la Cruz here, 14% winners in sprints, positive impact of plus 61. And then in routes, only 2 for 42, 5% winner, minus 51% impact. So, it's about 40 horses in both categories. It's not a lot of data, 2 wins versus 5, but that's where you start to wonder and say, okay, well, is a rider stronger in one category or another? Joe Talamo was one I noticed, 0 for 18 sprinting, minus 100% on impact, but 3 for 25, 12% winners going route or ground, 0% impact, meaning he's basically holding par going around the ground. So it's kind of interesting when you look at those, and some of them are very flipped like that, which you kind of wouldn't expect. You would expect if they're getting, but some of it could be related to the mounts they're getting from the trainers that excel at certain things.
Yeah, 0 for 18 though. That's pretty glaring.
Yeah, it's a little rough. Yeah, and I think he's had some good mounts, a lot of Stidham mounts, and Marty McGee as his agent's done a good job. And I don't know, we know Talamo can ride, so that's early.
And the name above was a name I checked, which appears the numbers are via sprints.
That's amazing. 4 for 10 with a huge impact.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So we got any Burgos sprinters tonight?
He's not. Normally I have an initial mark for the jockeys that I think move horses up, at least at Turfway. And tonight, since I had 4 names, I just did a little check mark. So I don't know, but he's on plenty. And with where's Mojica? He was another name that surprised me a little bit how well he was doing.
Orlando Mojica?
Yeah, impact wise. Just the 3 wins, but they've clearly come on.
Those are bombs.
Yeah, prices beyond what people expect. So
like look what right below him, Albin Jimenez, how you say that? 15% winner sprinting, 0 for 15 routes, not hitting the board at all. And you could get, I don't know much about, that rider in particular, but I mean, it can be the strength of the rider, where they're positioning the horse, again, the type of mounts they're getting from trainers and things like that.
I think too, and we mentioned this on opening week, a big thing with these jocks too is that they're facing 9, 10, 11 others in the race, for maybe the first time since the last time they rode Turfway, if at all. Right. A few of these names I recognize from Horseshoe, and they get solid fields, especially on turf. So, they're there. But even at Keeneland and Churchill, which as good as the racing is, 9 and 10 is more the norm. And that's still robust, but 12, each one you add, it's sort of like, playing the super. Right. Each one you add, you get more excited about, because that's just so much more money in the pool that has to be covered. Kind of same with jockeys. Like the jump from 10 to 12 is way bigger than 8 to 10. Yeah,
here's German Terrazzo. I think you mentioned, coming from Indy, doing really well, 15% winners, bringing home prices as well. But that makes total sense what you're talking about. And
so what about, we're got to be coming up on race 1.
Yeah, let's get some video. 4 minutes. So
okay,
we're coming up here.
Last I saw him against the favorite.
All right,
still against.
And who are you on this race?
3-2.
All right,
and they're the only 2 I used. I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised to see Thalberg, the current choice here.
Yeah, he wasn't my top choice.
Which, that's just in the win pool. Looking at exacta and double, he's more co-favored with the 3 and 6. The deuce, Casper Justice, I guess I picked second, but at 10-1 versus 7-2, that would definitely be where I would lean for a win bet.
Yeah, I was looking at 3-6-12 here. So definitely not on the 1. So we'll see. Just another one of these tough big fields at Turfway.
Right.
But, it's tough to know which direction to go in. I thought tonight was I didn't really see a lot of bombs or like crazy setups. I mean, in the early that we're talking about, the early pick fives, I kind of felt like this was sort of perhaps a diet of 7-2 to 6-1, kind of, that, if you can zig and zag and bring them in, it's still going to pay, as Turfway always seems to. But
yeah, there's a couple of 4 stars in the 5th race, and when I say that, I'm speaking of our debut power ratings, 1 to 5 scale. The 1 and 2 star horses at the meeting are 0 for 39. So the ratings definitely pointing to the non-winners, and the 4 and 5 star are flat bet profit, which I always think is impressive. Speaking of first time starters, because this time of year you still got the 2-year-olds folding in, of course, the late bloomer 3 and 4-year-olds, but there's multiple 3 or 4 and 5 star horses in a race more often than not.
Right.
So when we say flat bet, it includes betting everyone in the race. So if there's 2, 3, or 4, they're all getting bet, so to speak, when it comes to that stat, and they're beating it. So,
and what's the highest rating in race 5 that we
have? The 9. The 9 is 5 star.
Okay.
And then 3 and 8 have the 4 stars. So I'd love to get live to any of those 3 to close out the pick 5, because I anticipate the 2 that have raced, the 1 and 11, are going to get bet.
Yeah. Yeah, they should get bet. Yeah. I mean, the 9 does look good. I thought the 12 was one that was a little interesting. It had a really good Ocala workout, and it's just been working really slow. So I mean, I don't really like him. I just thought it was interesting to have that data point. That I think it breezed like a 20 and 3 at Ocala. So all right, well, good luck everybody in this first leg here as we kick off another awesome night at Turfway prices.
Let's hope so. All right, I'm in.
Okay, yeah, I got mine in, and there we go. Here, let's turn this off. A moment. 186,000 in the pool. It's pretty good. Still growing. So I imagine we'll get a nice bump at the end here.
Rodney, aka Hot Rod, and I are both on 2-3 here.
All right.
So
I was on. What did I say? 6.
And I threw out the 1.
I was on 3, 6, 12. So. Yeah, and I thought this was, an interesting one again to see how these horses came out of it. Some of these are coming out of this Eliza's Honor race that was only 14 days ago, and that 8 just jumped to the lead and quickly taken on. The 8 was interesting. The Ethan West that had a win at the Gulfstream Synthetic. It's like 1 for 2, 1 for 4 on synthetic. So, all right, they're going at it pretty good here. 5 and 8, not flying, but
clear. Liking my spot on the 3, especially since that one ended up favored. So
yeah, I like the 3 a lot. That was sort of my top choice.
I don't mind being on the side of the computers at 3 to 1. It's when they knock you down to 4 to 5 when you were hoping for 9 to 5. That gets a little frustrating.
Yeah. The 6 has got a little run. The 2's got a little run. 5 is not done now. Casper Justice. I couldn't get excited about Casper Justice off of that win against the 5-horse field, but it wasn't bad. I mean, the horse.
Well, speaking of late odds money, that horse went from 15 to 1 to 9 to 1 to 4 to 1.
Wow. All right. Well, they're going to battle it out here. The 5 is not done. The 2 is still coming, and no one else is coming. Looks like 2-5 then. All right. Casper Justice.
Casper Justice. Yeah, good start.
And 2 wins in a row at the meet.
I mean, the horse, I would actually, I talked about, and I didn't win bet anyone, but I said, at these prices, the 2 would be my play. Full disclosure,
That was before the draw.
I would actually say, like, looking at the board now, I would have said, I'm going to bet the 3 at 3-1 now that the 2's 4-1. So I feel I'd be pretty disappointed if I was excited about 8 or 9-1 on the deuce and ended up taking that kind of money. But there's a chance it didn't play like that in the multis. I know they spread the money pretty evenly, but maybe in a pick 5 or pick 3, it's not as bad.
What price was he going in the gate?
8.
Yeah, I think that holds for the most part.
Right.
Because most, all the retail players, everybody else, non-computer is playing off of that 8-1, not 4-1. So I think you get most of that price. Here we go. 4-1, 10-1. Yeah,
and Thalberg.
Nowhere.
Yeah, not sure he got a call.
Yeah, didn't really do much other than Thalberg all inside 2, 3, 4, 5. Something to watch on. 487-1. Wow,
got in there for a sliver.
Did. And the 5 ran well. Chase last time, and just I guess not quite as much pressure. I mean, this time, and held on for a long time.
360,000 in the pick 5 pool.
And there's a win for Burgos.
Oh,
so going around. Where's our stats here? There he is. Okay, so he was 4 for 10 sprinting and 0 for 11 going route. Now he's 1 for 12.
1 for 12.
Yeah.
And 5 for 22.
Yeah. Maybe getting some better mounts too. Yeah, and so there's not a lot of data when you're early in the meet, but some of the jocks have 40, 50.
Have you ever had Burgos?
Burgoo, but
no.
Summer Polly, the apprentice, finished second.
And Eddie Gerardo, a name I have until this moment been unaware of.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with.
Tiago is having a tough meeting. He's one of those I think he has maybe as many mounts as the Axeman.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the definition of journeyman, plying his trade, cashing some rider fees. I'm a little surprised he's a name I kind of threw out at the beginning of the meet in our week 1 live streams. That I thought, because he had a rough start after he lost the bug. He was 1 for a bunch for a while.
1 for 30. Right
1 for 30. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Belterra does well. Thought maybe got a little confidence over the summer and fall. Thought maybe here he'd get some better mounts, but he's a name. We won't call out any, be overly negative, but he's a name when I see 1 for 30. If I like the horse and it's a price, I'm still gonna.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna worry about it. There's a few names in the room where even at 20 or 30-1, I'm like, eh.
Well, no, it's really important, right? Because you were just talking about the difficulty once you're getting into 10, 11, 12 horse fields, which are tough to they have to be tough to navigate for the jocks.
Right.
So if you can start eliminating some horses or feel like you're making some good choices, eliminating even long shots, that's quite helpful. I mean, here's, Tiago 1 for 30, and then here's the Summer Polly is a triple bug apprentice, but really riding some big prices and hitting the board 3 times and again there. So 3 seconds out of 18 starts isn't terrible. What about Sammy Bermudez? 0 for 19. That's not too good.
Yeah, that's.
And it's such a deep colony, right? So you've got these names that you're not familiar with, and
Still getting some.
you could sit there and say, "Oh, it pays to know," but like, how much time can you invest in trying to figure out who the different riders are?
That's where trainer comes into play. But as great as it is Kentucky, some high class races, some big names, obviously. But I mean, there's tons of guys and gals training off farms and at the Thoroughbred Center, and laid up in Ohio and Indiana that may, if they ended up with the Kentucky bred, even though they're Ohio or Indiana based, getting that KTDF bonus for third or fourth, it means something.
Absolutely.
That could be your bill for the winner for some people. So yeah, I'm not as big a vertical player as frankly I think I should be, based on just kind of when I look at my results and handicapping and where my good opinions are, probably leaving some smaller losses on the table. I won't say money as if, that's all I need to do to win. But, I think kind of knowing those patterns for some of the local people to get the 80 to 1 and fourth, behind two horses I liked, like I had the keys there, first and third. So
I think, I think sometimes people that focus on horizontals get mystified by vertical bets, and I think sometimes it's easy to make it like way too hard.
Oh yeah, I mean that was just kind of ran out of time, and I was excited about. I like this pick 5, so I was kind of focused on that and trying to get through it thin there, and still have to beat Wesley here before things spread a little bit. But that was an instance where okay, we didn't like the 1. Now, fine, the 3 ended up being the lukewarm favorite. 2 took a lot of late money, but that 5 was usable in second. And I imagine that exacta was pretty solid, given it was third choice over sixth choice.
So here's the 87 to 1 shot that finished fourth. Let's look at its PPs. Fourth, fifth.
Up so I can see it on mine.
Pull it up.
Yeah,
I'm starting about 10 races down, but
I meant I'll pull up
you're
the
pulling
screen.
up yeah. So going back to July, fourth, fifth, third, fifth. Like this horse is like born to finish fourth, either that or spotted to finish fourth, right? All right, so then let's go a couple more. Then he went 9th, then 5th, then 7th. But this horse is never finishing 1, 2, 3, and he's never finishing 8, 9, 10.
Right.
So, what I like to do is take a horse like that and just kind of single it, if you will, or key it, if you will, in fourth. Or, sometimes you do in third. When you're talking about a dime, it doesn't cost much.
Yeah.
That's where you can say, okay, well, I'm going to use 4 horses to win. I'm going to use 4 horses or 5 horses in second, and 4 or 5 or 6 in third, and 1 in fourth doesn't really cost much. And you're always
for a dime. I mean, that's 4 by 5 by 5s. It's 480.
Yeah.
What did it pay?
Well, it paid pretty well. All right, let's see what it paid. Because those other, the top of the board was pretty flat, right? It's pretty even.
Right.
$325 for a dime. It's $325. So that, like on an odds basis, it's 3,000 to 1. So if you liked, a couple of the horses that are on the top.
No, and I've definitely learned through the years, and I do the grid A's and B's, and some people do A, B's, and C's, whatever. And I try to stress to people. I see a lot of numbers or whatever. Like that's purely basically fair odds and then grouping the horses
to win,
because
those are win chances.
Yeah. I don't want to put in the time to do fair odds for a 9-race card. Computers can do it like that. We do it here at HRN with the data we have, and I consult that, and it's very useful. But personally, for me to compute that just isn't worth my time. But I can, I have an idea in my head of, okay, this horse has this kind of a chance, and
Right.
then I make the A's and B's accordingly. But that is strictly to win. And when you're looking at a race, you can think, oh yeah, maybe 10 or 15 to 1 to win. But given the, whether it's track profile, the pace, whatever, you could think that they're going to hang around, or they're going to pick up, they're going to be charging, might not be good enough to win. So it's important to think about, that.
Yeah.
And take advantage of it, more importantly.
Yeah, right. I think that the challenge in verticals is I think you need to get creative, right? Like if you feel like you have a lock to win, then don't box, put a couple horses underneath. You don't want to bet the first and second best horses in the race to run 1-2. A lot of times,
unless that's all you bet. Like if you just think,
but usually it's if the winner, and a lot of times on the pace, can knock out the second best horse, so the second best horse doesn't finish second, I think that's an opportunity to make money in racing a lot of times. And then you have the seventh best horse could clunk up for second, that kind of thing, or third. And so that's where you can get some nice opportunities. This race, just since we were talking about it, I thought the 12 and the 13 are sort of interesting if you want to fish around on 30 to 1 shots.
I gave a little note to the 12.
All right. Or like fourth or third.
Yeah, it's one of those, not enough to. I was 3 deep at the time. I lost the 3, but I was fine. I was fine standing pat here, and I actually had a couple other horses I was teetering on later.
Yeah.
But yeah, and this is another situation. Like, I don't know how you feel, but I kind of think, especially a horse like this, the layoff, etc. Like, if you don't like him to win, do you really like him for second?
Right.
As well. So I'm not a huge box guy, but this is a case. I thought the 4 wasn't completely impossible either.
All right.
Again, and that was more not to win, but I think Play the Blues can absolutely, beat. Were there 3 scratches, so can beat 7 of these.
Yeah. Yeah. For when I'm playing verticals, like for especially for trifectas and supers, at the bottom, I'm usually looking for closers more than front runners. So like this Ward is a horse it's more likely to, win or just miss, or I don't want to say run up the track, but it's either, if it does well, it's there. If it doesn't, it's not a good play to box a horse like that in third, or to save within third or fourth. Whereas a lot of the, these 30 to 1 closers, generally wanting a closer versus a front runner, because a front runner, if a bomb gets on the lead and gets on challenge, gets brave, it's more likely. No, it's not. No, it's more likely to win. But I'd rather play something like that in an exact win bet or in a horizontal. And,
I agree.
But a long shot closer that's never going to win could be a nice little spice up to a try or a super. So, all right. So we were talking about this race. You were on the 6-7 against the Ward. I pretty much see it the same way. I think, depending if you have a pick 4 going or something that you want to include the Ward, I don't think it's the worst use ever, but you would want to have a price later on.
Yeah. I toyed with, if I'm right in the first race, using Ward with I think 2 of the 3 first-time starters I'm using in Lake 5 to have a decent morning line.
Yeah.
But I didn't really have, especially the 4th race, that's where I'm deepest. So even then it was like, man, I'm putting, my main ticket was 168, I think. So then it's like, man, I'm putting a quarter of my main ticket on using Ward, still having to be right in Lake 4.
Yeah. Right.
And then the firsters, which, there's value there. And I decided against it. Now, pick 4 is a little different because that's half the cost without needing to be too deep in the first leg. But man, I don't know. At even money, I just kind of feel like you gotta.
Yeah, I agree. You're diluting your ticket
for
not much payoff with only 3 legs behind it, for sure. Okay, let's look ahead to race 3. I had 2, 3, and then 9. What were you looking at?
I have 3, 10, 1.
All right, totally different.
Well, the 3.
The 3.
Desidero. And 2, if you said, hey, okay, well, who's next? That would have been my 4th pick, but there was a separation for me. So
okay. And then race 4, I had 2, 5, 11, maybe the 8 as a B. How about you?
2, 6, and then that's where it fell apart for me. If I get through the next 2, I'll be 70. But 2, 6 are who I like best. But that was a rate. One thing I noticed. I had my cold streak. I'm like, man, I got to figure this out. Is there's just races where I'm not like being 3 or 4 deep and just completely whiffing. And this to me was one of those races. So I'm not all because
you were 2, 6 and nothing else.
No, 2, 6, and then after that it's 1, 4, 5, 7, 8, 11. So 8
That's
deep.
a lot, yeah.
Yeah. But
the 2,
I didn't want to go all because then I would have been over $200, which sometimes you're like, yeah, this is worth that swing, but part of me was weighing I'm basically against an even money favorite that isn't going to surprise me if it wins. I mean, the horse should be 2 to 1, so that's an underlay I'm not using. But that weighs on you as a bettor. It's like, okay, you can get through that leg, and I'm comfortable with the ones I have. But
okay, the 2 horse in race 4, talking about the jockeys, is ridden by Korea, Yamari Korea.
Yeah, she's having a great,
doing well. Yeah, with 5 winners so far, and riding winners, huge HRN impact, positive 62%, and winners on sprints and routes. And I thought 5 to 2 was a little low on the 2 horse there. And then I was a little interested in race 4 and the 5. And that one's ridden by the Triple Bug Summer Polly, who I think's done all right with, you kind of have to deal with the cards you're dealt. She hasn't been getting a lot of favorites exactly, but this horse was kind of putting some nice closing runs on the turf at Indiana, and I just thought that this mile in the 16th race could be a little interesting.
Yeah, the 5 was one of my ads after I scratched.
Yeah,
lost a horse here in leg 2, and part of the reason, and I mentioned, one of the things we do here with all the data and odds and stuff. Is our fair odds gave that one a look relative to what the expectation of the price will be. So I was like, I better take a closer look, and like what I saw enough that it was kind of like, man, I don't want to get beat by this horse now that I have the option. I just thought that was, for me, I'd rather add there than what a lot of people will do, and I'm guilty of this, and it's a leak, but. Against Ward, then you get the scratch, and then people throw the favorite on there anyway.
Yeah.
When really the scratch probably makes it an even bigger underlay.
Sure.
Because anyone who's already played, which that's a little less. He was out before, going to get the gate. But anyone who played is going to pick up Ward on that scratch. But then B, it's just one less contender, and people default to the favorite. So.
Right. Well, looking at the double wheel pays, the one's paying $19. The next closest is the 6, paying $49. So,
yeah, and on imputed odds, he's going to be 4 to 5.
Right. I was going to say it's going to come down from even money. Yeah, certainly looks like it.
But it's very clear 6 and 7 are the next 2. So, that's its own separation. But then if neither of those win, then it's big.
All right.
Yeah. None of the other, what is that, 8 horses. So everyone but 1, 6, 7 none of them had more than 5% of the double pool.
Yeah, it's just it's 167 or nothing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, they're heading on the track.
And I didn't use them to pick 5, but I did play some pick 3s with the 4, 11, and 12. So that.
Okay. Use it starting last leg or
which
starting
it looks
here?
like the 4 is now out.
Yeah. 4 is out.
So 11 and 12.
Okay. Starting here or in the
No,
middle
I
right
started in the
Okay.
the first.
with Casper?
It was one of those thoughts like, okay, and at the time the one was favored,
Yeah.
and I had no reason to think wouldn't be, but I'm like, okay, I'm against the favorite.
Yeah.
I'm only 3 deep in the third race, so as we've seen at Turfway, I mean, a horse like the 12, that's that can lead into a $200 or $300 pick 3, which I think is an overlay. So,
wow, you like the 12 that much?
Well,
it's possible.
It was 6 combos.
Okay.
2, 3 with 12 with 1, 3, 10.
Okay. So you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah, I'm saying there's a chance.
All right.
You said there's a chance.
Yeah. Well, for 4th, and then.
Oh, you were okay.
I was focusing on 4th.
Yeah. No, I thought had a look of
Yeah. Okay, and then now it's a 10-horse field, so that changes some of the math on some of the superfectas and whatnot.
Right.
The other thing too is if you think this race is cold 167, you could take the 167 and to cover first and second in a try, or to your point, maybe don't use the 1 on top, which kills the price. So if you get 6-7 to win, 167 for second. Hopefully the 1 runs out. You could be looking at a big price. So I'm going to play a super with the 12 and 13 and 4th a couple times, and then flip them third once. So that'll be my super play here.
Yeah, I want to I do like the 11, and to win would probably be okay. Which, like I said, there's that clear separation, 20 to 1 on the imputed odds for the double, but kind of the clear 4th choice here.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely think the ordinal rankings kind of play a role in things. So even though, on the win end, pick end purposes, the 11 definitely is a big separator after 167. But for third in the try is probably, the logical horse, much more so than any of the others after those 3. So I definitely like the thought of kind of leaning on 12 and 13 instead. Not that you like the 11, but those are. I mean, No More Guns and Robin's Giant just aren't taking any money. Period.
No.
So
and maybe this would be more like a super high 5 play. I guess I wasn't very impressed with certainly the 8, the first timer. I mean, I guess the 9 is okay. I thought the 2 was okay, and then the 5 wasn't impressed with the 5 at all. So I thought, if the 5's nowhere, the 8's nowhere, maybe one of the favorites doesn't run in, I guess I should use the 11. So maybe it's a little bit of a stretch, but I've seen stranger things happen. Right? The 2 is not a bad play too. In fact, I'm going to use him as well. But
Ryan Jace is from the clouds.
From the clouds, exactly. That's what we're looking at. And I've got a $9 super going, so it's cheap.
You're live in the super?
Alive in the super. Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, Ryan's really going for it. Single city. I dig it.
The 2? The deuce.
The deuce.
The deuce is loose. Yeah, I mean, I think this horse is interesting. First time synthetics, you've got that sort of uncertainty, and he's Brody's cause. He should improve statistic wise. It was a positive Sire move, and he's run a little bit. So this is definitely a bottom level. This is where you want to take a shot on some prices. Typically. Yeah, I'm trying to get a a little pick four in, and I mean, I think if you beat the one here, Ed, right? That's pretty huge from the pick four standpoint.
Oh yeah.
So, all right, I'll throw the 2 in as well. It's a cheap ad. All right, we're getting to the gate. 2 minutes. Yeah, this is just you never know what you're going to get with Turfway, right? Every race is up for grabs. I did like the 6 and 7 though. I thought they were strong, sort of second contenders here. That I don't see why.
I mean, Ward kind of takes money anyway, so I won't try to read too much into it. But
agreed.
I think the last flash, whoever takes more money between the 6 and 7,
the computers,
that's who will run better of those two.
Okay.
I'll say that.
All right, interesting. Well, we have our own computer lines, like you were talking about. Maybe not quite as strong on synthetic, but they're pretty much the same. Although, no, our computer line says the 6 would go off a lot lower than the 7, which I would agree with that. We've got the 6 at 3-1 for an off odds, and the 7 at 5-1, which those are definitely coming down. I mean, there's nothing on the board after these top 3. And then talking about the pick 4, so you were talking about the 9 is the first stir to key on in race 5.
I mean, they're all 10-1 or higher. So, I mean, the 9 has the 5 stars. So, I guess you'd say a small lean there, but I used all 3. I mean,
what
those
was
3? 3, 8, 9.
Okay. Wow, 3 indies. Oh, the Vicky Oliver and the Ben Colebrook, very fast. Was that a 4-star or a 5-star?
4. The 9 was the 5.
I tend to like Ben Colebrook's second-time stars. Seem like they.
Yeah, I mean, Ben's. It's the catch-22. Like you see Brad Cox in a 5-star, and it's like, oh, yay! But then they're going to get bet.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I thought the
same initials.
Yeah, I thought the Lobo, the 6. I'm interested to see how it runs. Let's put it that way. But I was kind of 1-9-11 in race 5. All right, let's see. Let's take that off.
No, I mean, very understandable.
All right, 4-5. So we're against the Ward, and yeah. Let's see how Tony calls him here. 84,000. We think pick 4 pool goes over 100, probably, right? One more flip.
Oh yeah, I mean, Ward just clicked out in 1-2.
Wow, there's the hammer. So there's some believers.
There's believers.
Keith says he hears the HRN computer lines are pretty good. They're really good. A lot of good information, a lot of good data that we go put into that. And Keith's been a big help putting the lines together for us.
Now would be a great time because I just saw maybe the people who just made Ward 1-2 joined the stream because our viewership just doubled. So now is a great time.
Wow, pool up to 123.
To tell you to like and subscribe.
There you go. That's right. Well, everybody else is probably watching the race because we're on a 5-second delay.
No, that's true.
No, they're still saddling, so you still have time. The 8's back there, there's a few back there. Yeah, definitely like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the streams. And hopefully next week we'll have on, like we talked about earlier, the winner of the Pick 6 scoop for 63,000. I think
our first show of 24.
All right, there we go. We're gonna get a scratch. I think he said late scratch. Turn it up a little.
3, 4, 9, 10. And then we're It's the 9 new?
Yeah, the 9.
9.
The 9 is out. All right, so there's a scratch. Totalitarian. Total.
And then there were 9.
Yeah. So my 46-1 and 68-1 shot are even closer to finishing 4th now. And I've got
right.
2 of them, so they have to at least finish 8th and 9th. So it's like the math starts to get in your favor, but of course, the award winning will kill that payoff.
Yeah, unless if you both get them in there.
Well, yeah, it's always possible. Wow, those odds really dropped on this was award going down to 1 to 2.
I mean, it's not like the horses out were ones that were going to take money. So,
all right, so we're still alive on the pick 4.
Yeah.
And the pool's going up, 150,000. Time to get in another play. Let's see.
Catherine's back. I'm guessing 67 means she's on the 6 and 7 as well.
All right. Yeah. 6, 7 make a lot of sense. All right.
I'd like it.
I'm still scooping from long shots here. Oh, I added the 2. So I have the 2, 12, and 13. Yeah, I mean, just a lot of scratches here. 3's out, 4's out.
Yeah, I have a feeling we'll know this one early. If Ward beats the gate,
Yeah.
and
Then it's
on to the pick 3. Maybe not all over for you. And yes, Keith is asking, CRWs can't cancel.
So we hear.
So we hear. I for racing's foibles, of which there are many, I do feel like when there's a point blank on the record, like we got about this at Symposium, that is true.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's a small give, so to speak.
Right.
I tell you what, I'm liking this 2 a lot more. There's just so little in this race with these scratches.
Now, of course, they can react to their own pricing.
Yeah.
If some other team disagrees with 1 to 2, we'll know it when we reload here. But
we're not even reloading yet, are we?
No.
All right. Well, it gives us more time to get more plays in. I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
I feel like I'm in.
You're in. You're covered. You're good. Okay.
Covered, topped.
All right. I'm still going to try to get the 2. No, I'm going to get the 2 and the 13. How about that?
No, you're off the 12 now?
I liked it, but just not quite as much. So, I don't know. There's just, only so many ways this race can go, right?
Right.
If you figure 1, 6, 7 take up 2 of the top 2 spots, kind of hoping they don't run 1, 2, 3. That will sort of ruin any price possibility. But all right, so we're loading back in. Good luck, everybody, with race 2. Wednesday night, opening the week at Turfway. And they're off. And there's, as you predicted, the 1 is out. But he's got company.
Company's good.
He does have company from Asmussen. And that 7 has got a really nice stalking trip there. But he looks like he's purposely rating the 1. He's trying not to get in the speed duel.
I definitely like that there's a vanguard behind, though.
Yeah.
So it won't be like, even
close.
if he gets clear, someone will have to pursue.
I mean, it looks like all 3 horses have run. Wow, 23.5 for the first quarter. So they're they're going slow.
I like this body language on the 7 though.
Yeah, 7 looks like he's got a lot of run, and they all still have horse.
Yeah. That one's shaking a little bit.
Yeah, come on, let's put this one away.
And it's such a big ask off the bench.
Yeah.
7 flattened out bad though.
Come on, get in front of this 1, buddy.
There's your 2.
I got the 2. Superfecta.
You got the super high 5.
Yeah, come on. All right.
All right.
$2 super. Does that count? Yeah, I don't think it's going to pay very much.
I mean, the 6 had 18% of the exacta and win pool.
Yeah, the 1 ran second. That kind of
right, but
kills things.
I mean, let's assume the 1 had even number. I mean, you eliminated 50% of all tickets.
Yeah,
but then second obviously is.
Yeah, 6-7 would have been really nice.
6-7.
Lucky secret.
Well, that was you definitely had the right call. Is just play the 6-7. So that was nice. And yeah, the 7 had. I mean, 7 had good body language. They all kind of looked good for like they still had run.
Yeah.
Wow. Went slow. Finished. Okay.
I don't have the jockeys in front of me, but that's one of those. I mean, kudos to the rider on the 6 because I've seen this movie before, where it just seems like they bequeath the race to Ward if he breaks on top. Like it's okay. You're on top.
Well, that was Gerardo Corrales riding against Ward, which he was riding for him a lot last year.
Yeah, and Geraldo's. I mean, he's winning races, but his impact score is pretty light. ROI is really low. So I could see where he's maybe. He wants some wins.
Yeah. No, it's not been a great meet for Corrales so far. Ever since the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint win with no balls. Yeah. Don't change this.
Inquiry. It's pretty rare you get an inquiry at Kentucky Racing.
Really? Is it statistically proven? I'm just kidding.
Anecdotally,
all right.
Greg Hall, though, he'll tell you.
Yeah.
He's got a good rant about their reticence to flash the inquiry light.
Oh, yeah. It's a 6-1. All right.
We also have a trainer's objection.
That's not what we're looking for here, though. Well, the 1 was already behind. And he's clearly getting bumped. This is this is the case where, right, like we had the 6, we both have the 6-7, and it's like, if the 7 would have gotten second, then this inquiry wouldn't bother us. But unfortunately,
yeah, it doesn't look good.
Yeah. The worst is when you have 2 horses, right? And then like one bothers the other, and then they finish 1-3, and then your winner gets knocked down.
Yeah, if it were 6-7-1, I would be like, yeah, whatever. But
right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, if it was 6-7-1, we'd be like, okay, either way. Yeah, like if the 6 had just, really interfered with the 1 a lot better, then the 7 would have ran second. Well, what do you think? That's not looking great.
No, that's
the horse is coming.
If that's not a DQ, then nothing is.
Yeah, because he didn't win by enough at the end, right? Like,
well, and he's. I mean, that sometimes you see incidental bumping where they're upright, perpendicular to the track. But his head carriage is just completely leaned in on the horse. Unfortunately.
Can we look for reasons the 1 doesn't go up?
I mean, the only point I would make is he was already by him. Maybe that holds some sway.
Yeah.
Coming off the turn.
Okay, let's watch. Did the 1 bump him first here? Yeah, I think he might have. Not there. It was before the straight. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that's
And who are we talking about rider wise here? This is
Corrales and Rodriguez.
Okay.
So I mean, two.
Wait, right here, does the one bump?
That's the instance there where I'd say coming off the turn, but
Yeah.
it doesn't look good.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't look great. Well, all right. I found that would you agree? I feel like the Kentucky stewards are a little bit hesitant to make changes more than some of the other jurisdictions.
I agree with that, but the inquiry sign going on is really not ideal.
Yeah. I mean, the horse was clear, and it was only one bump, so I think there's some chance. But I agree.
Yeah,
you would think it comes down.
I don't know enough about.
Does anybody have any votes from the audience from the chat?
Foxhound says Robin is racing.
Yeah, that's right. Foxhound's.
I mean, he was by.
Very smart.
15 years ago, you never saw horses come back, but I mean, now it's just the norm that you get headed and fight back. So
50. They don't like just all of a sudden re-rally in the stretch.
I mean, other than storm
legs.
flag flying like that,
Yeah.
The one instance going back 21 years now, but
a little bit of rubbing. Nothing wrong with that. All right. Well, they're spending a long time looking at this, so maybe they're torn.
Yeah, maybe it's not unanimous.
Yeah. Oh, there's something. There's the change.
Yeah.
All right. Well, boo. But if you had the one,
ladies and gentlemen, after reviewing,
the
stewards have ruled there will be a disqualification. Number 6, Lucky Secret, who originally finished first, has been disqualified and placed.
and the horse kind of seemed to just duck in. It didn't. Corrales was whipping left-handed, and then it seemed like he was riding, and the horse ducked in. It didn't look like there was a whole lot he could have done about it.
I mean, really, the 7 not getting second is unfortunate.
Yes. So let's basically, who is that? Lagunas? Gabriel Lagunas. So basically, let's blame him for not getting second. Because then we would have gotten.
Yeah, I mean, he looked poised to be the winner, let alone.
Yeah. We could have gotten knocked down and put up at the same time.
Right, Chumbawamba.
That was what?
Chumbawamba.
Yeah.
I get knocked down, but I get up again.
All right. The 1 to 2, yeah, that doesn't help. And that ruins my superfecta. Boo.
Yeah, that's
Not that it was great.
it's a shit burger all around.
Yeah.
And there's just no reason that the 7 should not have been. I mean, surprised he didn't win off the turn, but
Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do?
yeah, the inquiry going on
That had you.
that in Kentucky.
That's another winner for Walt Rodriguez.
Official 1672, a top 4 finish.
Coming on, having a better meet.
Sherwood Avenue awarded the victory. 6, Lucky Secret, disqualified.
See where he's
second,
at.
Third place, 7, fourth place, 2, 1,
The 8th winner for Walt Rodriguez.
Top 4 finishers. 1-6 exact to $7.22.
$7 whopping on the exacta. The trifecta, $3.99 for 50 cents.
Wow.
I guess you have to have that a lot of times. Now that might be computer money that came in. And the super is a whopping $33, so that's a bummer.
So it would have been probably 100.
Yeah, I think so.
The other one.
Yeah.
Coming up will be a replay of the stretch run, looking at the incident involving 6 Lucky Secret and 1 Sherwood.
Well,
That's disappointing.
oh, here's the incident.
Gray-colored horse with the black blinker, Sherwood.
He's on the left-handed
inside.
whip.
You're going to see the contact come up right about
Here we go.
now as the 2.
Let's get
as the
this.
6, should say,
Let's
Lucky
high-tech
Secret
zoom
starts
in
to
here.
come over. It's a little physical here with
Yeah,
one
he
Sherwood
had stopped whipping, was riding, and I guess he
between 6 and 1. They continue to
maybe
stir
could have realized a little quicker that the horse was clearly going in, but
was affected.
Because the horse was responding to him, it looked like.
Right.
6 Lucky Secret originally finishing.
All right, move on, right? Because there's plenty more
That's all you
prices
can
to
do.
come.
Slow-mo, and you're going to see the 6 Lucky Secret starts to come over.
Turn the
on
page.
surely.
Yeah, I mean,
Making
that's
significant
ugly.
Contact, quite physical affair right there.
Yeah.
That far into the race, and the one never stopped running. Just,
Yeah.
One more
If you-
time, here is the 6 Lucky Secret. He's
If you
gonna
had a good bet
go
on the
one
6,
sure without
that's
you
pretty
repeatedly
gross to
bumping
put the
him.
1 to 2 up with that was beaten
Right.
with the bump. But
Placing was effective.
as we said, you move on.
Definitely warranting a disqualification.
So-
I'll try to.
6 Lucky Secret, the
All right.
original winner disqualified.
Well, what about race 3?
Placed second. So the new
There's
number
got to be
Um,
something you like there.
7-2 officially.
Yeah, let me,
We both like the 3
Always eager to-
Pacificadero.
Our
and,
third race will offer a double
see
and
what
a
the board-
midnight three. It's in 21 minutes at
Yeah.
7:04.
So the 1 is going to be a clear favorite,
Time for tonight's third
and the
race.
3 is going to be a
Jockey
decent
six,
price. It
Nancy
looks like.
Wait,
So
look at that little screenshot there. So is that acting on the 1 to like pull the horse up, even though like he knew he was second but not third?
20 minutes until the
That's a weird. Maybe it's just a weird still frame. Sorry, I interrupted. Go ahead.
no, the 1's going to be 3-2 here. So
Okay.
yeah, that definitely has me excited about the 3.
6-1 on the 3 currently. All right. Well, this was one on the 3 that I was talking about that he showed pace a little bit the second week of the meet, and then kind of stopped, got closed. A big closer won by about 9 lengths, and so I was thinking, okay, the track's fair. Is this a horse that could flip his form a little bit?
And
We'll find out,
Yeah.
right?
you're going to bet yes.
Yeah, I mean, he was an include. Actually, wanted to share.
Yeah, I anticipate this being an improved performance.
Yeah. All right. So here is our Sire stats for race 3, and the 3 Divisadero. He's 1 for 2 synthetic sprints, but this horse, the 3, was the 1 loss. So not a lot of data there, but you can kind of just see how some of these shake out in terms of Sire stats.
It was almost 3-5
On the 2?
on the 1.
I mean, the 1.
318. Yeah.
Oh, the board that just won, yeah, for sure. All right, well, nothing too exciting on the Sire stats. Go back to the video. All right, so we got a 5-1,
7,
1-2
7, 6 and 7.
on the stats.
Yeah,
Yeah, not bad. Accelerate and take charge, Indy.
6 is a price. I didn't give much of a look to, but
All right, let's go ahead and flip to our first timer ratings for race 5, since it's coming up in the pick 3 here. And I think you spent a little more time than I did with them today. You want to maybe walk us through these
sure.
or your take on them?
Let me pull up so we're looking at the same thing. There we go.
All right.
So yeah, and again, as a summary, so far this meet, the 4 and 5 star horses have a flat bet profit, and the 1 and 2 star are 0 for 39. The 3 stars do win, but a little less than they should, kind of neutral, which is what you would expect.
And this is
from a
the
3 star.
the rating here. Here it says rating 2. That's the stars on the 12.
Yes. So Noble, Madame, 2 star. I didn't really give much of a. I like to paper handicap, so to speak, first.
Okay.
Going agnostic from the ratings. And the 12 was one that hadn't caught my eye anyway. So the 2 star just sort of buttressed that.
So
this is not a use for me.
This was the only one that I had a good data point on was this 12. was bought at Ocala for 150,000. I think it was, and the Sire stud fee was 7,500. So did I have that right? No, it was 7.5 times the stud fee. So I think the stud fee was 20,000. And he sold for 150,000, and he worked 20 and change, 20 and 3/5 for 2 furlongs, which is pretty fast. And according to our stats, that produces about 20% winners. So it's a pretty fast stat. But then to your point, I agree. On paper, there's nothing else to recommend this horse. Every work is slow. I would have really loved to see like one quick work. There is not one. Joe Sharp hasn't had really many firsters, so no sign of success at Turfway. Really has only had a couple. The Sire's not great first time synthetic sprint, and Sharp's not great with Talamo. He's only used him a couple times. So really, it's just I was looking for one other thing here, and I couldn't find it.
Wasn't, and the post is what it is, I guess.
I don't mind the post.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let you go from here. Skip ahead to the 3.
Yeah. So obviously, as you can see, Vicky Oliver, maybe not the greatest, if at all. I will say, I mean, she wins enough at prices that to me, 0 for 10, yeah, not great, but the Turfway and synth numbers stick out. But again, she just wins too much with prices that I think if you do like her, I wasn't dissuaded there. This is the 3. Yeah. I would say of the 3, this was sort of my biggest upgrade just because of the 4-star. Okay. I would definitely rate this one third of the 3 I used. But knowing a price with the 4 stars I put on, and then a little bit of an encouragement. De La Cruz, jockey I definitely know from Horseshoe, very capable. I wouldn't say is it the Axeman's level or Axel, but good numbers with the trainer at least. So there was enough there that what are we at? 15-1 morning line. It's kind of a no-brainer with the 4 stars.
Okay. Yeah, and good stats with Lord Nelson first time out. Decent stats on synthetic, and the jockey stats. All right. Anything on the 5? 4.
I teetered on this one because the 10-1 morning line I thought was kind of raised my eyebrow, and paper capping. I would say I definitely had the 4 ahead of the 3, and then 3 stars. It's like it's okay, but kind of was in the middle for me, and I ended up leaving off. But if I'm being honest with myself, I just think Vicky Oliver is a better trainer than Owen Hardy, so that was kind of on my mind.
I would say he's probably better. Well, they're probably both better with second-time starters and
sure,
beyond, but I wouldn't disagree.
And Owen definitely a guy like that from his time at Arlington. Dropping, like that was always whether it was a dropping class because he got a Baffert cast off, so it was a lesser maiden special, or in a maiden claiming. Like I always thought he was kind of dangerous there. Like he gets owners wins, and I think that's a big reason he gets used a lot. But to me, at this level against these, I just kind of between the two, just I let the debut rating kind of draw the line for me. So if we were in a spot where I was able to be deeper here, or let's say I love the Wesley Ward, it's like, man, I'm excited about this Wesley even at odds on. Like this would be a horse that I could have thrown on because I was singled in that race at 10-1 morning line. But because I already felt like, okay, my big opinion is against Wesley and I'm too deep, this was a horse who didn't make the cut.
Okay. Yeah, and other thing, talking about the Hardy barn there, these big negative numbers on the HRN impact, to me, that really says that he wins in spots where they're favored, or they're really getting bet.
Yeah.
And so that's not that common for an 8% or a 9% trainer to be -30 on the impact. So that kind of tells me that either there's going to be betting or when they're in just really obvious spots, they win.
And I think that speaks kind of to what I said is, when he drops or has a live one from back in the day, like he would get the Baffert cast offs.
He does win a Prescott
Right.
with some of these synthetic. Okay, anything on the 5? I mean, 5 had some decent works, but not. I mean, 1 for 46 on the trainer first time out.
Yeah, I was a little surprised to see this one get 3 paper wise. I would say I liked less than the 12, in fact, who I didn't have much use for either. But so I was a little surprised to see this one ranked so high. But again, on the trainer front, just I know with Vicky, I was like, 0 for 10 doesn't really bother me. And Anna with the Turfway stats is 0 for 5, 6, 9. That's not a lot, but the 1 for 46 is pretty tough.
Yeah, I would agree. And, although it's interesting, would you say that this is a trainer, she's getting better stock?
Yeah, it seems like I forget her husband's deal, but he's an agent. And, I would say that's accurate.
So it's like, you wonder if some of those numbers can change at some point. I thought this horse, the works were great. And I think that's why it's a 3-star. It's the trainer, the trainer stats holding it back from being higher. But it's hard to bet on 1 for 46. Okay, skipping ahead to, now we get some more interesting ones. The 8, Ben Colebrook's firster.
Yeah, and I mean, another trainer I'm admittedly not over the moon about first time out, and the stats show that as well.
Right.
Kind of back up what I thought anecdotally, but this is one I kind of caught my eye. I had ranked second, so to speak. So the 4 stars kind of lined up with that, and at 10-1, between 4 stars and kind of liking a little bit anyway was a no-brainer for me. I was a little surprised to see Street Sense's numbers not a little better in the first timer category. He's a sire. It's not like I'm wild about him, but
slightly above. It's like a B-.
It's just okay, I guess. But initially I saw that name, I was like, oh, okay, good sire too. And then the numbers were just okay. But with the 4-star and I will say we've talked about 2 trainers that had a lot of 0s and 1-fers. Ben has a little better than that, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, what I would say with Ben's barn, he does get some good horses. I tend to look for them more second time out. If anything, once you start to see, even though Anna Mia was 1 for 46, 2 for 58. It's just a lot of data that's really proven, right, that winning first time out isn't a strategy or a focus for the Colebrook barn. Obviously, they can win first time out because we can see that they have. But the other thing where the first time report is really helpful and the impact is helpful is, so see how not only are they 3%, but they're minus 60 on the impact. So what that tells me is they're still getting bet a little bit. So they're getting, they're winning less than half of what they should. So they're probably getting bet like they should win 7% of the time, and yet they're winning 3% of the time. So they're like I like to say, the run happies, they train fast. Like run happies train well, and you'll see a run happy firster, and they'll have good times and a bullet and this and that, and they get bet. And that's what run happy, not that bad, but that's what they tend to look like first time out. And so it's always pulling you in. There's like that hook pulling you in. On the Colebrook, I like to watch them all at first time because they can be really great plays and sneaky plays second, third time out. Not that they can't win, but.
Now the one thing, little spin here to, it's like telling the story of, maybe why this horse could be better than the other 44 or 58 before it, say for the 2 winners, is, Turfway is evolving.
Absolutely.
This is a totally different book versus last year, which was much improved versus the year before. And trainers, I would say, especially a guy like Ben, who, can pretty much be based here year round now, might have a different level of stock for these type of races than he has before.
Absolutely.
I would say, and I've seen this at Belterra with Tommy Drury and Wesley Ward. I mean, they definitely ship up there, desperate to get a horse a win.
Mm-hmm.
And they go there. Turfway was that to a lesser extent for, the Kentucky circuit. It's not like that anymore. Now
Right.
it's super tough.
Right.
So better horses, maybe that makes a difference.
Yep. Okay, and now we get to the real meat and potatoes. The 5-star, the number 9 for Jonathan Thomas, which you were already recommending. And look at those stats for the trainer.
Yeah, good stats for him. Paper-wise, I actually picked anyway. Was surprised to see 10-1. We'll be surprised if we get that. There's just too much weight. I mean, 5-star, I like just paper-wise. Obviously going to be getting some water after I'm done with this segment.
You want to get some water? I'll take us home on the rest.
But yeah, I mean, this is the one, and at 10-1, and we've talked about this. Like, I'm definitely going to have to look at some pick threes because I've talked about horses who are 10, 12, and 15-1 on the morning line. Maybe 2 of those 3 end up decent prices at off time. I have to think one of them is going to be one of the ones that take money in the 5th, and then your value's gone. So,
you know what?
Definitely going to be running it back.
What I think is interesting, and one thing that the first time report does really well, is the algorithm compares the horses that have run against the horses that haven't run. And I think that's one of the strengths, right? Because as horse players, all the horses that run, we can see speed figures and we can compare them. But how do you compare the horses that don't have a speed figure? And so our algorithm, attempts to do that and line them up. And so that's something to keep in mind when you look at a horse like the 1, Pin Up Betty, at 3-1. So there's your morning line favorite. And our algorithm, by rating the 9 a 5-star, basically compared the 2 directly and says, yeah, the 9 has a pretty good shot here.
Right.
Our first timers, let me skip to the top here, but traditionally win about 20% of the time. Let's see. So they're winning 21.6% of the time as a 5-star. So that's pretty strong recommendation on a 10-1 morning line, which is, I guess that's why you're definitely all over it as a value plan.
And negative impact on 1 through 3. I'm a little surprised to see the 1-star isn't that much of a drop off, given the win percentage. But when they do win, they are huge prices. So they get by everybody. But the key, the impact from morning line is just incredible. Like
that's where right, and that pays off right now when the pick 3 starts, right?
Yes.
So basically, what this is saying is the Jonathan Thomas, that's 10-1 morning line. On average, the 5-stars come down 30%. So what's that? 6-1?
Yeah.
So that's what that's saying. I think if I heard what you were saying, it's going to come down potentially even more from that.
Yeah. I mean, the 1 in 11 makes sense of those who have run. After that, there's no one that I'd be excited about.
We could be looking at 9-2 or something like that. And so what the first timer report really does kind of gives you, for me, it's like a roadmap to see, okay, this is the one that's going to get bet. So if you're thinking 10-1 morning line and you want to wait around to the double or that race, you probably won't get it. So if you want to take, I think you can get
the double anymore, it's gone.
Yeah.
So this is your last stop.
Yeah, you can get more of the price, maybe not all of it, but you can get more of that price in the pick 3 or certainly in the pick 4, pick 5 at the longer horizontals. All right. I think Scott was on the 2. No, the 3. Pick 3 time. All right. We've got 2 minutes to race 3. Let's see where I'm at here. I think there's a couple prices in the next. I like the 5 and the 11 a little bit in the next race. 12-1 and the 11 at
I'm using
9-2
in my mix.
Okay. I like the switch on the 11 from the jockey switch from Michelle to to Declan.
Yeah, there's not much more you need to say than that first name you mentioned. Seems like any change from there is.
Yeah. All right, let's see. I need to find a superfecta play here, if there is one. I don't know if you got any good closers here. Really not much. There's really not much in the way of closers in this race. They're all kind of mid-packers. So maybe not. Kind of a weak bunch.
In here?
Yeah.
What about the 10?
Yeah. Doesn't really excite me.
Really?
No.
A for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I mean, as a closer, I guess it's a decent drop, but yeah, mild late run. All right. That's something. $8 to 1 on this too, huh? They're very chilly.
You think so?
I mean, I didn't love it at 5 to 2 morning line. I thought that was. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm on the wrong race. I did like. I did like the 2, but yeah, 5 to 1 morning line, big difference. All right, going in the gate. Good luck, everybody, in race number 3.
I bet the 3.
I went 2-3.
With some 10 peppered in there.
Pepper the 10. All right, I like it. We got one more left to run. Looks like they're in. And away they go. All right, so we got the 9 out front, Tormenta Jerry. And it seemed like we had some slow paces in the first couple races, although it wasn't quality. He's got a good hold on that 9.
I didn't use the
23
9 though.
and change.
Mild use.
Yeah, that was a B. I went 2-3, and then a 9 is a B. 2 came down, so 4 to 1. So that was a big drop, right? Now here comes the 1. Got a good stalking trip on the inside. And the 2 is going to circle 3 wide. Can we get a price here or another? Oh, the favorite might be in trouble here. There's the 2. But 6 is coming. 6 got a lot of horse at 38 to 1. And that inside's not in a bad spot. Come on, 2, switch leads or do something here. 2-6. All right. We got the 2 through. 2-6-1? No. Is it the 7? No, the 1.
All right.
That was a big drop. Right? Because what was the 8 or 9 to 1 when I mentioned it? And then he dropped down to.
He was 7 to 1, double odds. Yeah, crushed.
Yeah. Yeah. To reapply. Yeah. So this was another one where, I thought he ran a decent race the second week of the meet when it was more closing. He was up on the pace the whole time, faded to 3rd by 9, and there's another Burgos winner sprinting.
Oh, Burgos.
Yeah.
Guy's riding well.
Cooking up winners. And a 38-1 in second. Wow. That's a nice exacta there. Yeah, the 6. Couldn't really recommend the 6 though, but it was a second time starter. So
Andres Kaleha.
Kaleha.
I'm gonna get some water.
All right.
You'll hold down the fort.
I will. So congrats if anybody had that one. Nope, we're good. 4-1, a nice priced winner. And all right, we talked about the first time report. As we kind of look ahead to the rest of the card, we wanted to take a look at the Sire moves report, which has got some great information, especially as some of these horses take to the synthetic for the first time. So let's switch to that real quick. And we just finished race 3, but just kind of give you an idea. Here was this winner. Reapply. So the Sire Unified, the way you read this report, last race was a synthetic route. The Sire's 13% winners in the HRN Impact is plus 34. Moving to a sprint, they're 16% winners. So it's about 30% increase in win percentage, which is why this is highlighted here in green. And then the HRN Impact is pretty similar. So that's not a strong move. That's kind of one of those like don't hate it that it's a positive move. Because I like the horse already, but like here's the 4 horse moving from 9 to 13%, same kind of thing. Not a big. Don't usually look at those too much. The report only shows horses where the move is plus or minus greater than plus or minus 3% in either direction. So blow it up there a little bit. But just kind of looking through the rest of the card. In race 4, the 5 horse Skip and Justice. This was a negative move, but Harry's Holiday as a sire has only had 6 synthetic routes, so 0 for 6 so far. Just a small number, and I like the way this 5 horse had run over the turf at Indiana closing, so I thought that was kind of worth a play. Wow, big superfecta if anyone got that. Almost $8,000 for $1, $800 for a dime. Wow. Okay, so then race 5 is the maiden special. The 2 by McCracken, they are 0 for 11 sprinting. Again, that's not a lot of data, but he is coming off something that the Sire does really well, 17% winners on a dirt sprint. So it would be hard for him to like the surface even more. And the rest of these aren't too big a difference. The 7's a little bit of a drop off, 18% to 12%. You know, that is a 50% decline. So I would be a little concerned about that. Let's see what else pops up. So here's a bigger one in race 6, the 8, Buckeye Rose. Going from 17% winners to 5% on a small sample. But that's not looking great. Yummy Bella, Caracante, really good on a dirt route, 22%. And, pretty okay at a synthetic route at 14%, but slight decline to be aware of. Most of these aren't too big a difference here. Jimmy Creed going from 17% to 10% on the 2 horse. So, all right, so this is a favorite in race 8. And, if you're always looking for reasons to potentially beat a favorite. And let me just jump to my PPs really quickly. And okay, so this is the Tom Drury horse. Broke his maiden at Churchill Downs. Second time start going on to synthetic.
You're talking about Tenenbaum?
I am talking about Tenenbaum. Very good.
Single.
It's single. Did you know the Sire move is fairly negative?
I had a feeling Jimmy
Okay.
Creed.
Jimmy Creed, yeah. So Jimmy Creed, yeah, 17% winners on a dirt sprint, which is fairly outstanding, to 10% on a synthetic sprint, which is average.
Yeah, and Tommy did have a horse I know he thought highly of last week that ran terrible first time synth,
Okay.
which I mean it's one instance in the past week. So not saying that that's like he can't make the switch. We know he can, but
Right. So
definitely was in my head when I looked at this one. But man, he just I mean that race was
So this is, yeah, without getting into the horse in the race in detail, just kind of using this, it's I think it's an interesting exercise. So, I think the next thing you would look at the workouts, right?
right.
Now, if you blocked out the synthetic works and didn't look at those, and hopefully people can see it, I'm blowing it up. The dirt works are pretty outstanding, right? There's a couple 35s, there's a 48 breezing, there's another 48, couple 48s, there's a 47 breezing, and these are all dirt works at Churchill Downs that are pretty outstanding. Now he comes to synthetic at Turfway, and those works are kind of mediocre. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know that that's a reason not to bet the horse just on that alone.
7 of 53.
No, that's not bad. Yeah, the 753, but the 33 out of 136, that's about the top 25%. I guess that's about where he's working. Maybe the track at Turfway. I think Turfway's certainly had faster works on that at times.
Right.
Anyway, I'm just looking at, can we kind of figure out some ways to maybe beat a 2-1 favorite? That's an opportunity. Okay, then just to go back and finish up on the Sire Moves report. So that was Tenenbaum. And, this isn't such a big negative that I would disqualify the horse. That's not what I was trying to say. It's more about, can we figure out why we can maybe beat this horse? It's only raced one time.
Well, it's Turfway.
That's a lot.
That alone. I feel like the chalk magic has been used up on Wesley Ward.
Okay. Most of the others aren't too big. Okay, so here's an interesting one. Molly Bali, and I think I want to say that horse has already run on synthetic previously, but where is he? Yeah, that horse. Okay, so no, this horse is stretching out to a route for the first time. So that's pretty interesting. Bala Bali. Did you look at this horse? Ed to 1 in race 9.
Race 9.
So going from an 8% synthetic sprint sire to 21% with a nice positive impact. That's a pretty big move.
So I looked, didn't like. And then noticed that the aforementioned odds line thought there might be some value there.
Okay.
So that's the positive. I personally wasn't a fan, but
Okay.
I do think the last is pretty tough. So
Okay. And then the other one that I would note here is the 7 Captive Star.
also
Charlie.
in the last, I hate the favorite. So that's another reason that, well, if you're 6 deep against the favorite, do you want to get beat by that horse?
Right.
7 deep, maybe not.
Right. Okay. And then just the 7, dropping from 14 to 0 for, but 0 for 10, really not a big deal. Not a ton of data there. So that's the Sire Moves report. And find it really helpful for Turfway when horses are coming on synthetic for the first time. They're moving like that horse in the 9th from synthetic sprint, synthetic routes. Very different in how those play. And sometimes some pedigree can tip you off into some nice tosses and some nice plays.
And that I never look at that and then it's automatically like, oh, toss, oh, use it. The price is the final arbiter, but yeah, like you're looking for a reason for, 20-1 to improve or getting the number, or, you hate the favorite. So, I mean, that's kind of when I mentioned race selection and, this race coming up, race 4, kind of difficult. Especially looking at this board, like, man, I'd love to beat the 11 at 5-2. Well, for me, in my mind, it's like if you're against a favorite, or like the last race, the favorite 12, like, why wouldn't you, to me, a Sire move is absolutely enough at 20-1.
Yeah.
To use a horse. So yeah, that's the utility for me. Is now you and I are maybe thinking a little oppositely on the Drury, especially with the Brad in there.
I haven't dug into the race.
Oh,
yet,
okay.
So I was just saying generically.
Pumpkin Scone, Brad probably is going to take some money too. I actually do have. I had 1-2 on my grid. More than thinking about it and you bringing it up, I just feel like you got to pick one or the other there. And I think I'll go with Drury. On the surface switch, yeah, it's a little scary, but was just clearly fastest.
Yeah, and you're saying that was a really impressive race at Churchill.
Yeah, I've got a 14 Ragazin, which is just faster than the rest of these.
All right. Let's look at the runbacks in that race. I'm just looking to see the 4 that have come back. Wow, Port Townsend from the Sherry DeVoe, that was 5th that day, came back and ran a monster turf sprint. Yeah, pretty good. The figures look pretty good. There we go. Single six jackpot.
No carryover, thanks to your pal.
Sammy pulled it down. Quite the score.
This has the makings of a full pay.
Yeah. Scott's tickets. There we go. 5, 7, 8. Oh.
Not in alignment there.
Yeah, the races are off. It says race.
Man, that's way off.
7 through 12.
That's not right. Those aren't his picks.
Imposter picks?
I mean, it's probably from
Derby Day.
When. Yeah. I mean, they haven't had 12 races at Turfway this meet, so.
All right.
I feel like he has to play that ticket now, though.
The unintended ticket.
There are a couple first-time starters in race 7 too, incidentally.
Yes, and the Brad Cox looks pretty good, I thought.
He's back.
There we are. The right numbers. That was quick. 1-2-11, 1-8-11. All right.
Wow, he's singling his long shot of the day. I like it.
Which race is that?
Race 7, number 7. I mean, I like the stand. I don't like his horse, but
Race 7, the number 7. Oh, okay, going against.
Another thing to remember with, I mean, you saw his ticket. It is a dry pot. You're not playing for any added money.
Yeah,
if you're the lone winner.
I think we were just looking at the races. And
I know.
Anything.
But that definitely explains to me why he, played more lottery style with his long shot versus.
Yeah, and so all right. So looking at Turfway race 7, the Brad Cox firster befriended looks very, very fast. How did you have race 7?
Race 7, I was 9-1.
Won 47 flat at Turfway, fastest of 125. And
it's definitely faster than Tenenbaum.
Mm-hmm. But that's okay. Tenenbaum wasn't ever really working bullets too much. But the thing about the Brad Cox first timers, I've kind of noticed is when they work fast, they run fast. They don't surprise you. They don't come out of nowhere. And then he's starting at a route, but I mean he's done well with first timers going a route. Not many trainers do well first time going a route of ground. I mean, really, Chad Brown's pretty good, and a couple others. I think Clement's pretty good, but like even Pletcher.
Shug?
Oh, is that good?
No.
I mean, like even Pletcher, I think he's like 8% with the route.
Trombetta?
I don't know about that much detail. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say south of 10%.
Okay.
All right, so Brad Cox, I'm looking back at the first timer report. First time synthetic route, how about 31% winners?
Wow. And that's all here. Well, I guess, no. I mean, there wouldn't be any Gulfstream. Doesn't Chip Maidens to Presque Isle. So, yeah, I mean, that's a pure Turfway stat.
Well, yeah, look, right there. 16, both stats are from Turfway. Yeah, I should have showed this race on the first time report, but here we are. Yeah, look at those stats. And the HRN impact is plus 80%. Wow. So first time starters at Turfway, 28%, but he's even better than a synthetic route at Turfway. Pretty strong. Nyquist, 18% synthetic route, and he's 44% with Axel, and then obviously that's a positive impact. So the one looks like it could be pretty good in race 7.
All right.
And you were looking to go against, that was your second choice?
Yeah, just, I mean, price wise, I use the 4-star on top. The
Which
9.
is the 9, okay. The Vicky. Union Rags,
who
is 8% on synthetic routes.
Yeah, a little better than he is on turf, which is abominable.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was and paper handicapping, I the one stuck out. Like, that wasn't a news flash by any means. I thought the 9 looked okay, and then when I saw 4 stars, I was like, all right, at this price, like, why not? So
Right.
and I will say, like, even though I didn't give much of a look to the 7 at all, which is Shap's long shot of the night, top pick, and singled in that small pick 6 ticket. Like, to me, the fact, okay, yeah, he didn't take either of the firsters, but he, of the ones who ran, he's picking a long shot. That kind of in my head gives a little credence to maybe a firster stacks up well against that group as well.
Why did he like him? Any idea?
That I don't know.
Fausto Gutierrez. Yeah, that yeah, the Cox looks really fast, and let's see, might be working with some pretty good horses too. Okay, and anything else you want to talk about in the late?
No, I mean, I think the last is super tough. Could be fun to get live to the last, though, because, being against the chalk there, could have some big numbers on the board late in terms of will pays.
Okay.
So,
and you were on Tenenbaum in race 8?
Yeah, I think just gonna plant my flag.
Plant your flag. All right, fair enough.
So the big question is, how deep in the last? Race 6, I'm 146. Definitely not getting any more creative than that there. And then I guess I have some choices to make in race 7. Just lean on the 2 firsters, or give a little more coverage. I'm inclined to just lean on the 2 firsters.
Okay.
Again, kind of thinking along the lines with what I said about Scott picking the long shot. It's like, okay, if I don't like either of them, then I'm 50% or doubling the cost of my ticket with logicals. I'd rather just have the opinion a debut runner can win the race and go from there.
Right. Okay. Let's switch gears and talk about the double, because we talked about race 5 a lot with his firsters.
Yeah.
The 9 was the firster you liked in race 5. I would agree. It's a 5-star. The doubles look pretty healthy.
It's in the set. How much time? So, okay, so
6
I'm
minutes.
gonna pop up the impudence or not impudence, but the double pool.
So like the 11.9 is $150. That's pretty chilly even. Yeah, what's the imputed odds?
So as of right now, 1 is the chalk and the double pool.
Right. Do you have an odds on that?
The 8 is taking way more money than the 9.
Okay.
So the 8 of the no, there's no odds. It's just the percentage of the pool.
Okay.
But yeah, the 9 definitely being overlooked,
And what's the 11?
and the 3 is a complete bomb. 11 is 16% of the pool, so 5-1.
Yeah.
And then the 1 is 7-2.
I mean, the thing about the 9 is, and we talk about it for a minute, is Jonathan Thomas has done, well. I mean, Turfway 3 for 10, so 30% winners. Actually, so he's done more routing, only 1 for 5 sprinting, but overall pretty good numbers. 19% on a synthetic sprint overall. So he's definitely been successful with this kind of move. But the 1 and 11 are decent, some decent form there too. All right, so race 4, I was on the 5 and the 11. You were on, remind me,
Race 4, 2-6.
2 and 6. So we're going to do it. 2 is one of my B's. Yeah, this was the one I was a little surprised that this 2 was down at 5-2 morning line. It's 3-1. It's clearly getting bet.
So Christian and Candace both have a vote for the 3, which is a nice number, I believe.
Yeah, 10-1, 14-1.
Ryan J is using 1-2-5-7 to start off the pick 6. He's singling the chalk late.
All right.
Which I always feel like, much like a horse like that, if you like, yeah, single.
Mm-hmm. All right. 2 and 11 getting a lot of action here. 3-1. 7 is 7-2. I thought the I don't know. This mile 16th distance seems to be like a stalking trip. There's not a ton of speed in here. But maybe if they let the 1 go, the 2 and 11 will probably be in a pretty decent spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. I need to find a super horse. See if this is a super race. I do like some of the sprints a lot of times better.
Oh, a superfecta horse.
Yeah.
Not a super horse.
Not a super
Like
horse.
Rachel
Superfecta
Alexander.
horse. But I
Super
think a lot of
filly.
times sprints get faster, and turf routes are a little bit more my favorite place for superfecta bombs. Not maybe as much like a route at Turfway. I mean, this could be a bomb. These, Turfway routes could be a bomb on top. But there's some good. This is a good odds board. I mean, it's really concentrated on those 3 again. Let's see if I can find any prices. Put the 9. Doesn't look.
Yeah, that's super flat.
Yeah. At the top, you mean basically
The 8's out.
just scratched?
Mm-hmm.
Silver C, okay. Yeah, my 5 is hanging in at 7-1, which I think is pretty strong for the triple bug summer poly. Up. Going down to 6-1. Fourth choice. Yeah. It's like, yeah, there's 3 horses getting bet. One at 6-1, one at 10-1, and then everything's just pretty long after that.
Yeah, they're definitely not betting the firsters in the
next race?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty sharp odds board. I can't really find a lot to get excited about. Well, I mean, those doubles are great with that firster with that 9. Actually, they've come down quite a bit. Am I looking at the right one? No, they're still pretty good. Like the 2 9 doubles, $111. The 11 9 doubles, $132. So pretty strong. Clicking away. All right. Well, good luck, everybody, in race 4.
Shoot.
Hope you're still alive in something good to bring home here.
I'm trying to bring it home.
Trying to bring it home. All right. So we got a mile and 16th, and
They're off.
and the 10's on the lead. All right. North Star.
No 10s here.
No. All right. There's 1 with it. So no completely free lead there. Well, 10's pretty clear, though. 42-1, clear on the lead. How about that? They do not look like they're going in that fast. I mean, they're kind of bunched in the first group, 25 and change. Wow. Yeah. In which case, let me look at the 2. That's a great spot, sitting in 4th on the inside, and the 11's in 5th. So 2 of the favorites, and then the 2 came down at the end, 2-1 to be clear favorite. The 11 went up a little bit, 7-2. And both in pretty decent spots. I think the 2's in a little bit better spot on a slow pace race. Just kind of, look at that, just inheriting one horse after another. And soon to be in the lead. 11's got some run, but it's got a little bit to make up.
Not really putting away the $80 horse, though.
No, that could be to the advantage of the 11. 11's got a little bit of momentum. The 2 seem to be flattening out a little, but I'm running out of time here. Oh, here's my 5. Can the Bug Girl get this 5 up? No, not to win. Come on, 5. It's a nice little close, though. 2-5-3.
Looks like a decent crowd.
On track?
Yeah. A few people in the chat mentioned the 3. Hopefully they were able to do something with it.
The 2, you mean? 2.
No,
the 3.
Candace and Christian.
For the trifecta, for sure. Orlando Mojica for 3rd. So that was another win for Yarmari Correa. 2-5-3. And it's female riders 1-2 there. Summer Polly second. Orlando Marhica third. So, that was a favorite. So that was a horse she should have done well on, but that's another winner for Korea. And
the third 2 of the night.
Third 2. All right. 2s are wild.
2-1, 2-2.
Yeah, that's what it was like last week. You kind of wanted to be inside, and
yeah, that was a great inside trip.
Yeah, I mean, that's whereas we were watching the race, the trip on the 11 versus the 2. I think if they'd been flipped, I think the 11 might have had a better finish. I mean, that was a dream trip on the inside there on that too. But she did a nice job. Got the 2 out, got the right spot, just waited, let things develop. They didn't go too fast. Plenty of horse at the end, or at least enough to hold off the 5. So not a big price. We're looking at the pick 3 there, $17. So
would have paid probably 50 without the DQ.
Yeah, probably. Right about. Oh well.
Yeah,
we can move on, right?
Oh well, maybe you can.
You're still stuck on the DQ. I moved on.
No, I mean, it was the right call. I'm being dramatic for the gram.
It was just unfortunate. But yes, it was the right call. All right. So then we're coming up to the maiden race. Well, I did use the 2 in the double a little bit. So the double, the 2-9 double is $112. So
I did make it to the pick 3 with those horses, though.
Okay. All right. I'm going to take a break if you can drive for a second.
Is it a pause for the cause?
Yeah. There you go. Like the
you know what that is?
Yeah. We used to do that.
I guess it's me and the gang. I better pull up the chat so we have something to talk about. Great to see this jockey colony. Mentioned Summer Polly already a couple times. Triple Bug, waiting on that win, but man, in the mix every race. Yar Marie riding really well. High HR and impact, positive ROI, I believe. Orlando Mojica as well. So, good colony. I think we've dealt in years past with Turfway, which has always had good field sizes. But one of the issues, for lack of a better word, kind of get past that 6th, 7th, 8th jock in the room, things had really fallen off. And now I would say we're at the point, really the top 12, not that they're in the gate every race, but any of the top 12, it's really nothing to discount them. And it's tough up there. Gadio Martinez, who is a fantastic synthetic rider based on the numbers over the past couple years, know his agent, Dougie Sell, really well, having trouble, getting mounts. So it is deep, but that, I think makes for a better betting product. Jay Davis wants to know if I can order him some Skyline. Not at the moment, but certainly always up for tagging Skyline. And maybe we'll send some. I've never gotten a gift certificate from Skyline, so I know people think I'm on the make, but they do not pay me. I do not get free food. I think once I got some socks, maybe. I definitely have gotten an swag, meaning singular, at some point, but no, I do love it genuinely. So always happy to help people get Skyline. So Jay, there's a great Skyline right across from Turfway. Although one of the benefits of not living near Turfway and to drive up there is love the Richwood Skyline. And I don't get to go, it's been years, but when I lived in Lexington, Dry Ridge, the furthest south until you get to Lexington proper, is an excellent Skyline. So always good to know where your Skylines are. Pick 5 time, more ways than one. Payoff leg if you're live, which I am not, but I am going to pull up the will pays. Pretty logical. Really haven't had anything that would separate. I did try to, which I would have been eliminated in leg 3, although that deuce made some sense. I'd kind of be a little upset if I had survived the DQ and still missed. Nevertheless, so I'm not even live for 4 or 5, but this was pretty logical. No reason to think many people who played wouldn't be alive. But the first time starters I like are decent payoffs, 579 to the 8, 1,035 to the 9, which is the 5-star, and then 1,674 to the 3. So it didn't take much to get there. If you're live, good luck. Very chalky though. So if the chalk continues to play out, the Uno 176.45, the 11 380.21, and the 7 475.99. After that, things get interesting. After the 8. So 1, 11, 7, 8 are the ones that have taken the most money in the pick 5 will pays. Good luck if you're live. I'd like to say I'm starting fresh here, but I don't think it's going to happen. I've played around with a bunch of numbers, and I'm willing to single Drury in the penultimate leg, race 8. And even then, I'm at hundreds of dollars and don't feel good about a value leg. You know, I guess I could. One option is I could go thin. The firsters I look here, which are 3, 8, 9. And the 8 is taking money, otherwise decent prices. 1, 4, 6 in the next. Firsters in the 7th, 1, 9. Single Drury, and then a bunch in the last, tossing the favorite. 3 times 3 is 9, 18. If I were 8 deep in the last, that'd be $72. That's palatable. We'll see. Not sure if I'll pull that trigger, but at least it makes sense a little bit. But yeah, this is a tough pick 5. I think I'm gonna have to sit it out, Mark.
Well, they don't make them easy here.
No, they don't.
They don't.
I'm just thrilled to be alive in a pick 3.
Yeah. One thing we didn't talk about this race is the 10 horse. Candace reminded me is a half to California Chrome.
Really?
Yeah.
The 10
Celtic Elegance for Kenny McPeak, and but interestingly, it went through the sales for the Philly for only 90,000, which probably wasn't that much for a half to Kentucky Derby winner. But that's always fun to note, and that's something we want to try to start highlighting more on Horse Racing Nation. Is some of the young horses that have connections to top siblings and top dam offspring.
Can I ask you a personal question? Was Chromie your homie?
No, actually, well, I was a good fan. I was a fan. I did really well that Derby.
Oh, well,
that was the super screener was all over Commanding Curve, and that was he second?
He was second.
Right? Yeah. So that was a big.
You know who was third?
Now I'm forgetting. That's why I'm.
Danza,
yeah. Arkansas Derby winner, right?
Arkansas Stallion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the natural state.
I was a fan of Chrome. Not as big as Candace, but definitely a great horse.
Chromie is her homie.
Yeah.
It was it's kind of crazy to think about, but that was kind of the end of a golden era for Derby winners.
How's that?
Well,
for the point system?
I mean, Animal Kingdom went on to do good things. And then you had Olive Another, which obviously cut short, but he did win the Preakness, and Uno Mas Mario was a thing for a week. Or was terrible after the Derby, so that he's more like what we've seen recently. But then you had Chrome and Pharaoh.
Right.
And then after that, it's been dire.
Justify.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings on But
comment.
Nyquist, Always Dreaming. Then you had,
comment.
the DQ in 19, COVID Derby.
Well, that was a bad run.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mage was awesome. I thought Mage was a great derby, and
this year was. I mean, I didn't.
Rich Strike was a crazy outcome, but having that 80-1 shot was good for the sport. I think that was good for the derby and good for the sport in the long run. It's always good to know.
It's good for Jim Scully.
Yeah, good to know that any horse can win anytime. But
last one in.
Yeah, he drew in on Friday, right?
Yeah, AE.
Yeah, but yeah, Country House, that was odd, and that was, and then he never ran again, of course.
Right.
Okay, so the 9 not getting bet at all here. A 5-star, 13-1.
Abdi wants to know what we think of the 4 in here and the 1 in race 7.
I think I was with you on the 4. On paper, there's some good works, but Owen Hardy's doesn't do super numbers first time out, and Turfway's not done super, and what was the other one?
The 1 in race 7, which
I thought the 1 was
that
pretty dynamite,
pretty strong
in race 7. Yeah. So that might be a single, or I think it could be a single for a lot of people in race 7. So I'm still trying to figure out race 8. I mean, I don't know. Pumpkin Scone, Tenenbaum. I mean, Tenenbaum looks pretty good, but there's some other speed to throw at him there. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like either he's fastest and other speed doesn't matter, or he's not. And it's very binary in that case, especially. And again, it's like, I hate hammering on this one example from just a week ago for a trainer who wins 20% plus, but I know that, they were high on a horse they had who looked great making a synthetic debut and just did very little running. So
Yeah.
Either this horse takes to it and runs back to the debut or doesn't. And that might be a good opportunity, though. I mean, I think Pumpkin Scone's going to be underlaid too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just kind of one of those, if you want to gamble against the 2 horses that are going to take money, I think you make a case that they don't even hit the board if they don't win.
Wow. Yeah. That would be a shocker. Yeah, I mean, but they're both speed horses. They're both drawn next to each other. So things could get a little interesting. Yeah, just trying to see what other options do we have to work with in race 7. I mean race 8.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing for me is sometimes you, like in race 2, as a for instance, I like the 2 horses I use, 6 and 7. It wasn't I don't want to play this war. Let me just pick 2. Or,
right.
I like those and didn't work out, but still feel good about it. Whereas race 8, I actually like Drury and I like Pumpkin Scone a little bit. I just don't think, I just can't make a case for using both.
Right.
Since I don't have any really strong opinions elsewhere. But after that, it's a huge cliff. So to me, sometimes I do, you play a backup, you have some horses you're a little excited about as Bs, but I mean, I have 7 other horses, 8 other horses written down. Like you can't, and I get that criticism a lot. People see my grid, which actually I'll pop it up.
You're just trying to say like what's possible, plausible with the grid.
Right. So, people will see, you're, 5 Bs, and no, I'm not looking to play all 5.
Right.
But if one of those 5 is a $50 horse, then, maybe there's a reason to use it with the 1 and the 2, or look at some of the doubles, etc. But
yeah. No. I agree.
But I mean, I think here there's an opportunity because the three firsters with the right ratings are no worse than third choice.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
8
I
is
had this
the
race.
Colebrook, or which 3 is the Vicky.
Yes. 4 is the Hardy. The Colebrook is that the 8? Seems like it.
And Jonathan Thomas
It's
trained
the
the
9.
9.
Yeah. I mean, but that 9 that's pretty chilly at 14-1.
Yeah. A little chilly.
Little bit. Yeah. All right. Well, I think you still got to go with it. I mean, we can't back away now, right? 14-1.
Heck no.
No. Go forward off the cliff. Right?
Remember that sign at Arlington?
What sign?
Quit? Hell no. With the burned down grandstand and the tents for the million.
Yeah. There's no quit in that million.
I never saw that one up for auction.
No.
That big print.
Maybe they kept it somewhere.
It was a good one. Do you remember that?
No.
You don't remember the fire?
Yeah, I watched the fire. I'm from Chicago. I
That's
remember
why.
the fire. I don't remember the sign.
Oh.
Yeah. That was great, man. They rebuilt it, and then we had Unbridled and Summer Squall race there. Some Triple Crown winners and on undercards, like in the last races. It was great.
Wow.
Yeah. The
Early fires.
Early fires was good, and the best was Noel Hickey. I think we were talking about that before. He won, I think it was 49 out of 100 turf races one year at Arlington. Like it was automatic.
Yeah.
Like you could just go to the window. Yeah.
Who was his big owner?
Himself. Yeah. Irish Acre Farms. Yeah. He had Bucks Boy won the turf at Trill.
Illinois bred?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, most all of us were Illinois breds.
Yeah.
But it was great. It was automatic. Like you saw him in the entries, and you're like, "Oh, I got to get off work at this time and get over to Arlington to get down before simulcasting."
Right.
Back in the day. All right. So what if we go to a pick 3 to the 1? Is that too chalky in race 7? That could be a little chalky. What do you got in race 6?
6 on 146.
Okay. This could be a good race to pick
Let
off,
it rip.
to kick off a pick 3. I mean, most people are focused on pick 5.
Yeah. No. I mean, I'm live to my 3, but I'm going to try to keep it rolling.
All right. Yeah, you got to. All right, 1, 3, 6. All right, and then odds board's kind of what you would expect here. I mean, although the 1 and the 11, I mean, it's a balanced board here, right? Finally. So 1 and 11 aren't getting pounded, but there's so many different directions to go in. Feels like then something's an overlay. The 1 just went down to 3-1. What do you think the odds are going to be? And do you have any odds predictions?
We do. So in the double, the 1 looks to be 2-1.
Okay, that's kind of what I was expecting. But I think that's just kind of floating out here for the meantime, right?
Down here, everybody floats.
Yeah.
That's from it.
Oh. I missed that. I did not read that or see it.
Yeah, I haven't seen either iteration.
All right. Well. Okay, 1, 3, 6. That looks fairly logical in race 6. So maybe
I'm not sure if there's a Nyquist in this race, but Spurson once asked if Nyquist ranks high on synthetic.
yeah, he's pretty good.
It's pretty good. That's what I thought.
If we need a race, if we can get a race, we can run it. But here, I'll just run the big stats. But Nyquist has been a good sire. I mean, I don't know how he ranks in terms of graded stakes winners or that sort of thing, but
no, they're runners. I mean, they're check cashers.
Yeah, they're really useful horses. All right, here's the big stats. Overall, Nyquist 16% winners, 17% on turf, 15.7 on synthetic. I'm sorry, 17 on dirt, 13.5 turf, 15.7 on synthetic. Good at sprints and routes, 16% sprinting, 15.5 routing. Yeah, I mean, the Nyquists are pretty good at everything. Maybe turf routes, 12.5%. That might be one of the weaker categories. Synthetic sprint is one of the weaker categories, 11.5%. Synthetic route, 18%. So that's pretty stout. So that's where you could get that difference.
Stretching out.
So again, synthetic sprinting, 11.5%, routing, 18%. Yeah, they have good stamina. I mean, I don't think they're like marathoners, but they definitely do well routing. Yeah, wow. Get this. So Nyquist, less than 6 furlongs, 18%. 6 to 6.5 furlongs on why that stat, but 16.5% winners. 6.5 to 8 furlongs, 15% winners. And then 8 to 9 furlongs, 15% winners. So like 18, 16, 15, 15, very consistent.
Nyquist.
All
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's a name I don't mind seeing. Similar to Street Sense, I was surprised he was, like I said, lower when we looked at it. But
yeah, I mean, Street Sense is great. I think he's got a little. Nyquist is a little bit more all-dimensional, where Street Sense is a little more stamina. Would you say that maybe a little less turf, a little more stamina? Probably not rocking it out at 5.5 furlongs, kind of thing. That was just kind of off the top of my head, but
although Nyquist he won in like June.
Yeah,
of his 2-year-old year.
Yeah.
Early bird.
This would be a good superfecta race. Sheesh.
Wow, yeah, this is
our 9 couldn't be colder. I don't know. I'm starting to have cold feet.
That's what you want.
No, I think I've got something alive here. Yeah, I've got some doubles, so it doesn't really matter.
Right. I'm trying to see what I'm like to.
All right. If I was looking for a superfecta closer, who would that be? So many firsters. I would want a firster with stamina. I got it. I'll do the 12. 6 is getting played 9-1.
Yeah, versus the double odds, which were 17.
Yeah.
This is the make or break for my day.
It is. All right. And how so? Going forward or ending here?
I mean, I want to hit the pick 3, but I'd be rolling as well. So. All
right. Well, let's get it. The 3, Indy's Halo. I'm going to try to look at their 3 one more time.
Yeah, based on the pools, I think if I hit this one and the next one, I'll be out for the night or the day. I mean, the whole day.
You'll be out.
Out.
Got it.
No, then I'll need to hit the one after that to be out.
Got it. But that's not bad.
No, that's. I mean, if I told you at the beginning of the day a trio of 4 and 5 star horses could make your night, wouldn't you take that?
Yeah, absolutely. All right. I'm going to play our 9 in the trifecta in third. I'm getting a little concerned.
Did the 4 just get a big win bet? Which I noticed because James Reed is on board.
Oh, yeah.
But he was higher than 7-1, wasn't he? Excuse me. Yeah, 13-1 double odds.
All right. Yeah, I mean, he's got great works. So many of these have good works. So I'm going to play 9 in third in the try under the 111 and 1611. And I'm going to try to get the 9 just because, if he runs good, but if he beats all the firsters, but not the 1 and 11 who have good form, I think that could be an okay try. And then I'm going to use the 12. Wow. Think about this. Well, that was the 12 I just told you that had the good Ocala workout. So how is the 12 15-1? And those works are slow. And the 9 is a Jonathan Thomas working very fast, and it's 20-1. That seems inexplicable, doesn't it? Not?
Yeah, no.
I mean, I can explain why the 4's getting bet, the 8's getting bet, the 7's getting bet. I'm a little surprised the 9's chilly, but I mean, that could certainly happen. All right. Well, good luck, everybody, as we're kind of in the gate here and getting close.
Getting close. Yeah, the 9 keeps drifting. I'm definitely in the that's a bad sign camp at this point. But I'm locked in the pick 3. So
okay.
I mean, at 23-1, probably should bet to win too, but we'll take our chances that we get through the next leg as well.
I've got some doubles ending here, so I'm good if he wins. But yeah, these are so interesting. Let's see what we get here. Good luck, everybody, and here we go. What's cracking coming out there? All right, 2, 8, 11 seem to be out there. 11 was a little bit of a closer. It broke well.
I'd like to see that if you took some money at 6-1.
The 2's running well. The 11's in a really nice spot. We've had all these inside winners, but sitting third like that in a good spot. 7's in a decent spot as well. And the 4, the Owen Hardy first are sitting on the rail. That's sort of the garden trip here.
Yeah, definitely. Yarmarie worked that to her advantage last time.
Yeah. Yeah, and so now all of a sudden
this thing might be shaking loose a little bit.
Yeah, shaking loose for sure. Yeah, our 9's nowhere to be seen. The 1's going to try. So it's interesting. The 11 showed more speed than usual. The 1's going to come from way off it, and he's got a little run. And who's come with him? Is it 5? 2's running out of gas, but it looks like he's going to get there, isn't he?
Yep.
What's cracking? That's McCracken. Looks like first time synthetic winner because he was 0 for 10 to this point. So blinkers on. Another 2.
Another 2.
All right. We're playing late pick 4. 2, 2, 2, 2.
2, 2, 2, 2.
Wow. That was this horse was interesting as a second time starter, and I liked that it was off since May, right? So it's like you've got the 2-year-old development between a May start and
May is early.
Yeah, and so the speed figure was light. I went back and I looked at the horses it ran with, the horses it beat. There really wasn't a lot in there. They didn't really develop. So not that it has to be the toughest field, but it didn't look like the toughest field. but it had come back working well, and for Sarah Hamilton, and broke well, was ready
Who's
to
the
go.
rider?
Ashton. It was Gavin Ashton, who I'm not really familiar with, but
yeah, the 9 definitely ran to the price. Beat a few home.
Gavin Ashton looks like second winner of the meet. Was 1 for 22 going in there, but a lot of prices. The HRN impact was only minus 20%, which on 1 for 22 kind of tells us that
it's
right in a
pretty
lot
much
of prices.
expected wins less than 2.
So the impact will be positive for sure after that. Well, that's tough. So that ends our string of relative favorites.
Yes.
And we got on the pick 5 here, but only 1160 on the pick 5. So not crazy.
Yeah, I mean, if you got to that one for $30, you'd like to think you're getting a little more than that. But I mean, the Ward was the universal single for sure. I mean, not universal. I didn't use, but at 1 to 2, you definitely and ended up. Which, granted, the 2 late scratches weren't prices, or they were prices.
Yeah.
But it did add a little bit to, anyone that would have went all, ended up tripling up. So they might be happy.
Yeah.
Depending on how narrow they were. But
the Anna Mia first time starter at 42 to 1 ran third. And with the 1 blinking, could even potentially get put up from there in the 3.
That'd be a try.
For Vicky Oliver, and Fernando de la Cruz ran 4th. All right, what are they looking at here? The 1 came over at the end. Guess we can throw that back up. Oh, yeah.
I mean, based on the pan, it looks like he.
Yeah, we can't tell enough, but it looked like something happened.
Well, we certainly saw plenty of head-ons for the second race, so hopefully we'll get the same here.
There's probably
not that it matters.
There's probably not too many people that want a 2-1 to be a 2-5, but
right. He might be out there though.
Yeah.
Someone.
Yeah, that would be a heck of a try. 2-5-1.
The 2-1 is 53 to 1. The 2-5 is 406 to 1. So,
all right. Well, I thought that what was interesting there is so the 1, which was the maker ridden by Axel Concepcion, had showed more speed and actually took off the pace, and then came wide at the end. And then the 11, which was kind of the second choice, was a horse that was coming off of a turf route and kind of came off it a little bit, went to the lead, and went under Abel Cedillo, and then was nowhere at the end. I was kind of expecting them to be the opposite. But
guess we're not getting a look at the head on here.
Oh yeah, we got like zeroed in, zoomed in. All right, here we go. I was gonna say we got to see that over and over in race 2, was it?
Now we're getting the full replay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's see. There's our 9. He's got like 2 horses beat, maybe 3, 2.
No, Gavin fought for that position to stay on the rail, and it's a good ride.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously the inside looks good, and I mean that's 2-1, although 1 went wide, but like 1s and 2s have it so far. So that's gonna be interesting. So you've got the Cox Firstheimer, that's the 1 in race 7, and then the 1 and 2, which would be favored in race 8.
Right.
Well.
And then a morning line favorites, post 12 in the nightcap, who I didn't like anyway.
That's me. Another Jonathan Thomas. All right. And let's just
While we're-
recap that early we went a route, 2 sprints, a route, and another sprint. So it's been both that we've had inside. And inside was good last week as well. So that's going to be something to look at in late. And then tomorrow is, give these horses on the inside an extra look. Does that mean no change? There's no more blinking?
Well, while we wrap this up, everyone please do like and subscribe so you'll know when we're back at it, which should be next week.
Yes, thanks so much for joining us. It's been fun. Always great to hear from everybody, and always great to get together and play some Turfway Park.
Yeah, sorry it wasn't profitable for me, but I saw a few people had some looks there. John Brescio among them. So
Good.
well done if you connected. It's the toughest one of the night based on price. So
Yeah, but we got 4 more to go.
4 more to go. Yep. I will glad I didn't play the pick 5. I was stuck with the pick 3, given I thought it's pretty tough, but definitely going to play that pick 4. Try to close things out.
All right, good
Get it
luck.
back. Are you playing the pick 4?
Yeah, I'll take a quick look and get something in, and then
All right.
we'll see. Get back at it tomorrow.
Thursday. And Friday, there's a pick 6 carryover at Fairgrounds.
Oh, awesome.
50 grand.
All right.
So,
Looking forward to something to look forward to.
yes, I'm
All
looking
week.
forward to it. But, all right,
And
good luck,
end the
everybody.
year on a winning note, right?
Yes.
All right. Thanks, everybody.